Good afternoon, Known community. So good to have you here today. I am Barb Nangle. I am the community manager of Known Co-working. Welcome to the Connection Corner. In a moment, I'm going to introduce you to Margaret Lekander, who will be speaking about how to prevent employee embezzlement. But before I introduce her, I'm sure you've noticed that this show is no longer called Known Live. We've renamed it to Connection Corner, and that's because that's what we do here. We connect people. Known Live refers to our entire suite of virtual programming. So I'm just going to take a moment to tell you a little bit about Known. It is a dynamic co-working community to connect people across their fields of expertise, endeavors, and experiences. And though we started as a co-working space in downtown New Haven, and we're still the only co-working space in downtown New Haven, we moved our community to the virtual world once the quarantine hit. As a reminder, Known Co-working has hourly, daily, and monthly plans for dedicated desks and office spaces, as well as conference rooms and Zoom rooms available for rent. If you'd like to know more about the space, feel free to send me an email. I can be reached at barb@knowncoworking.com. You can also check us out at knowncoworking.com or follow us at Known Co-working on Instagram or Facebook and message us there. I mentioned that we moved our community online once the pandemic arrived, and as a result, we now have 3 virtual programs: Digital Media Sync, Connection Corner, and Pivot Talk. You can catch replays of all of these shows for free under the Known Live and Events menu on our website. Digital Media Sync is your window to the digital world. It airs on Tuesdays at 8:30 and is hosted by Julia Gooch. She's the social media maven of Agents of Branding. This past week, she talked all about Facebook, especially if you want to sell anything on Facebook. And the week before, she talked all about e-commerce. So be sure to check that out if you're interested in building your business with anything digital. There's a whole bunch of episodes, and I just binge watched a whole bunch myself, and it's really helpful for me. I'm going to be doing a webinar myself for my own business on boundaries, if you need help with boundaries, this coming Monday, and I binge watched a whole slew of episodes to teach me how to do a lot of that stuff. We also have Pivot Talk, which is a virtual stage for businesses to share and learn as they grow. This show, Connection Corner, is a place for entrepreneurs, artists, creators, thinkers, dreamers, educators, and community members to share who they are, what they do, who they serve, how and why. It airs approximately weekly, and it shows at a time that's convenient for the guests, so it's not a consistent time every week. If you know of anybody who would like to be on any one of these shows, send me an email, barb@knowncoworking.com. Our purpose in both the physical and virtual spaces is to make connections between people. We're here to help you get connected, inspired, and get known. Now, without further ado, I would like to bring on Margaret Lekander. Margaret, welcome to the Connection Corner. So glad to have you here.
Thank you. And
you're so welcome. Fantastic. I'm glad you're here. That's it. Good. You're a little bit more centered there. Okay. So the reason I've invited Margaret on here is because she told me this story of having been embezzled, and how after the fact she had gone around and talked to different business organizations and community colleges to spread the word to people, to let them know, yeah, this can happen to you. And I thought, oh my God, this is perfect for the Known community, because we have lots of entrepreneurs and many would-be entrepreneurs, many of whom have someone else that doesn't work for them personally doing their books. Mm-hmm. And so I just thought it would be of huge benefit to people for them to hear your story, Margaret. So maybe if you could start by telling us a little bit about your business and how long you've been in business and all that stuff, and then kind of just launch into the story of what happened, and I'll pipe in, when I have questions. How does that sound?
Perfect.
Okay.
Well, hi, everybody. My name is Margaret Lekander. I've owned a little bicycle shop in Northwest Montana since August of '76, which is about 44 years. I was 26 years old when I purchased the business. It was a long established business. It started in 1918.
Wow. So, I didn't know that part. Wow.
Yeah. So we did celebrate our centennial in 2018.
Nice.
Yeah, I feel very, very blessed that I was still there.
Yeah.
I'm going to start out with saying the embezzlement made me a better business person. That's one message I want to give to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And it also, you do not recover from an embezzlement for a while. It set me back at least 10 years in my business life. Um,
Do you mean like financially or like even like psychologically and all that stuff too?
Mostly financially, 10
Okay.
years, because you got to sell. I was talking to my brother this morning. He says, yeah, you got to sell a lot of things for a profit to recover
Mm.
that loss. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to start out by saying there were so many flags, and she was my bookkeeper and my friend.
Mm-hmm.
She was my bookkeeper for 11 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so there's so many things that were flags, and I know we only have 30 minutes. So,
Well,
um,
we could go up to 45. So I think you should just weave the story in whatever way, you would tell a friend or a business person,
so she did my books, and I had um, I had a great business. I just could not pay my bills, and it was embarrassing. And I started to get really embarrassed. And one of my major lines of bicycles, I didn't even go back for their yearly meeting because I couldn't pay my bill and I was past due. It was humiliating. And then, kind of, when I started realizing, you know, um, my bankers were retreating instead of, there with the checkbook to help. I never, I was past due, but I never missed a payment. I eventually got it to the bank. And, there was other things like my friends own a saw shop and a hot tub shop in town. I know that's a strange combination, but they're very successful. People love them. And Kathy called me up and she says,
Wait, who's Kathy?
she owns the saw shop and the hot tub
Oh,
shop.
okay.
The owners, Kathy and John, and they called me. And Kathy called me up on one night and she said, Linda just came in and spent $5,000. And Linda's my bookkeeper. $5,000 cash on a hot tub. And I go, that's great. She's always hurting, and and I'm glad that, I'm glad she got that. And then, and after I figured out what was going on, I reflected on all the flags. And other flags were, she was driving a brand new Lincoln Continental. I was driving a 12-year-old Taurus. And her son had a another brand new car. So those are flags. Watch what they spend.
Mm-hmm.
Watch what they share with you. She was not the first question the county attorney says, does she gamble? No, she's not a gambler. But she got addicted to taking my cash, and that is an addiction.
Mm-hmm.
And she, even though she might have had good intentions of paying it back, and I read about these embezzlements across the state, and they always had wonderful intentions of paying it back, but they get this cash addiction. And so she, and I know that's what happened. And so then there were some more flags. I said, gee, Linda, I'm running out of room downstairs. Do I really have to keep all this stuff for 7 years? Nah, don't worry about it. Just throw 4 years of the oldest ones away.
Do you mean your financial records?
All my records, yeah.
I see.
All my payrolls, all my accounts payable. Just throw them away. So I did that. I mean, I was so clueless and naive.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was still struggling with paying my bills. And so she went on a trip to New York. And I took my books over to another bookkeeper. And the other bookkeeper said, bottom line, there's somebody stealing from you. And I said, because I said to my other bookkeeper, I said, I can't pay my bills. I don't know what's going on. And I was putting payrolls on credit cards, and I mean, everything was going to hell in a handbag. I was going through a divorce, good, bad, or indifferent. I had 2 little kids that saw a stressed out mom, and I know that affected them. And they also had a very angry mom on their hands because I was pissed. It's like, what's going on? So Kathy, the other bookkeeper comes back. She says, somebody's stealing from you. So my bookkeeper comes back, and I said, somebody's stealing from me. She goes, really? And I said, who do you think it is? Well, it's probably John. I said, John? Or it's probably this guy. I said, okay, we'll start watching him. I was talking to the thief.
Right.
So I took my kids to Red Lodge on a spring break vacation in 1997. I want to tell everybody this happened in 1997 because my current crew says, what if somebody watches this and they'll think it's today? And I said, no, it's 1997. So I took the kids to Red Lodge for a spring break trip. And I came back and I left the kids at home and I said, I'm going to run over to the shop, which is 4 minutes away, and just check things out. So I'm thumbing. Oh, another thing. She took my bank statement home every month for 11 years. Don't ever let anybody do that.
Okay.
You get your own bank statement. And I said, Linda, why do you take the bank statement home? She says, because I can spread it out on my kitchen table and, the old way. Okay, sure. That makes sense. So anyway, I ran over to the shop and I was thumbing through the checkbook, and the bank statement was sitting there, thumbing through the checkbook, and I said, oh, okay, this, that, and I saw Linda had taken a check for $150. So I opened up the bank statement to see if my health insurance had gone up, and I'm just thumbing through the checks like we used to do in the old days when they sent the checks back, and I thought, wow, Linda has a check here for $350. Well, what she had, $350. And what she had done is she enters it in the ledger, but she actually wrote the check out for $200 more. And then you see, she took the bank statement home every month for 11 years. So I'm going, oh my God. So I started going through things, and of course the adrenaline's pumping now. And I go downstairs and I'm going through stuff and I'm going, oh my God. In the short time I had, because the kids were home alone, I had uncovered about $25,000.
Oh my goodness.
In the short time. And I just come home in shock. And this was a Sunday night. So Monday, I go to my local attorney and he says, get all your books back from her now. And the key to the store. So naively, I go out there to her house by myself. And I shouldn't have done that. I should have had somebody with me. And I said, I need the books and I need the keys to the store. No, I'm not. I said, I got to have them. I will not leave here unless I have them. And so she hands me the books and throws the keys to the store and hits my chest, which is okay. So I got them. And then the next day, my attorney says, you need to take that to the county attorney. So we took it to the county attorney. And he embraced my whole case. He was very nice to me. This is another thing. I have a very good relationship with the city of Kalispell. Never fought with them. I've always cooperated with them. And that's a key, let me tell you. Because I had a father back in Minneapolis who fought with the city council and did everything against them. And I didn't subscribe to that when I was 17 years old. So anyway, I went to the county.
You mean he was a business owner in Minneapolis, and as a business owner, he had a contentious relationship with the city?
That's correct.
Okay, and so you're advocating, like, basically, and one of the things we do here at Known is we build relationships, and we foster relationships, and we encourage the building of relationships. So that's totally right in line with our philosophy.
Really,
yeah.
It has paid off tenfold because 5 years ago, I wanted to start a hostel above the building, above my store, because that was my home. And I just got a nod. Go ahead, just upgrade the fire system, the high-end fire system. the city likes me.
That's
And
good.
oh, it's very good. And because I grew up with the opposite, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we went to the county attorney, and he embraced the case, and she pled not guilty. Now I'm fast forwarding. So I prepped for 3 months getting ready for that trial with all the county attorney assistant ladies and men, digging through stuff, pulling shit out, stuff out. Sorry.
It's okay.
And my kids were on the softball field without a mom and blah, blah, blah. So I was absent from their lives that summer. Only to have her, we're heading to trial the first week in September on Monday morning. And on Friday afternoon, they called in and said she pled guilty. And so I went to the sentencing, and I took my kids, and I thought they could learn something. They hardly remember it. But anyway, I went to the sentencing, and my attorney said, why did she change the plea? And he said, to be real honest with you, we spent all summer trying to get something on Margaret, and we could not get anything on her. I mean, I don't pay people under the table. I don't cheat on anything. And that's paid off. In this world, it's totally paid off.
Honesty is the best policy. That's a cliche for a reason.
Yeah, you know, and so she actually ended up getting sentenced to 10 years in the Montana State Prison, all but all forgiven if she came up with a substantial repayment plan. So because she recommended I throw 4 years of my records away, which I did, we only could prove about $40,000. But my accountant and I figured she took well over $100,000.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Talk about, of course your business got set back by 10 years. $100,000 hit.
Yeah.
And then, and then there's the fact that, like, had you had that money and been earning interest on it, oh my goodness, you know,
and
or expanding your business and your inventory. I mean, oh goodness. Yeah.
I was short on inventory. I had huge debt by then. So she got 30 days in the county jail, but she had to go to her mother-in-law, which is a prominent Kalispell family. I'm not going to mention their name, and got a check. But she still made payments to me for about 5 years. So I got and she still spent 30 days in jail, as far as I know. They might have, I mean, she's not an aggressive type individual. She's sweet, by the way. She's very sweet.
Of course. She was going to pay it back. Absolutely. Yeah, of course she was sweet. Yeah,
and she was always concerned about me more than anybody. Of course, you know, let's keep Margaret healthy.
And she's paying my bills. Yeah.
Let's keep her in chaos. So anyway, so that's my hurting part. And I got this, I'm in a great recovery program, and I was at a meeting the other night. It says hurting, healing, and helping. So that was the hurting part. And the healing part I put a lot of checks and balances in place. I'm very open-minded. I mean, I'm very open book about my embezzlement. I tell employees when they start, I said, I will ask point blank questions. Don't be offended. But I said, and you know, I've had a lot of employees that have stolen from me. I'm a stronger person now. I'm a smarter person now. So I put, you know, checks and balances. Nobody really checks my bank statement. Can't believe that. Nobody checks the bank statement except me. I take it all to at the end of the month, I take it to my accountant. And so I still couldn't pay my bills. Even after I got the big chunk of money, I mean, I was so far behind the 8 ball. And then it dawned on me going, oh my God, this is going to take a long time. I did not get a formal business education. I mean, I think this was my business education. Eventually, I did get my degree, when the dust started to settle and but I was totally bonded to that business. And
Mm-hmm.
also what happened is my good employees lost confidence on me and they walked out on me.
Oh no.
Yeah, I was left with one mechanic. And that summer of 97 or whatever, I literally rolled up my sleeves with the one mechanic that stayed with me and sold everything. Sold everything because I didn't have any. They totally walked me. And I don't blame them. I do not blame them. They did not feel secure. They
Mm-hmm.
saw me on COD, cash on delivery, with everything. They saw me short on inventory.
Mm-hmm.
They saw me, I had the worried, angry look on my face all the time. And I felt bad for them.
Mm-hmm.
And so they left. So it took a while, and I started crawling back, and I got some great people fell in my life, and I just sold my business. I'm selling my business to my manager, who's a wonderful man. He's been
Now you mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
he's been with me for 15 years, and I feel fortunate that I had a business to sell after that.
Mm-hmm.
And my kids finally understand what mom was going through. I kept a lot of it inside
Mm-hmm.
because I was angry. I was an angry woman.
Of course, yeah.
I was embarrassed. I was full of shame.
Mm-hmm.
And I just we've set up systems for employees to keep track of their purchases. And I mean, we are so tight with everything now, which is the way a business should be ran. You've got to have checks and balances.
Mm-hmm.
I had people take me aside and like, what was wrong? It's like, oh, let me see, where should I start? I'm getting a divorce. She took advantage of me.
Mm-hmm.
That's So I I'm healthier now talking about it because
Yeah, of course, with time, yeah.
exactly, and I've come out on the other end, and now if I can help anybody, it's like, please put systems in place. Don't be shy
Mm-hmm.
about asking point blank questions.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I and it's a relief. And I'm trying to think about what else I put in place. I mean, down to the payroll system, which I finally got a payroll program.
So does that mean like you hired a payroll company?
Payroll service, yeah.
Payroll service? Okay, and so you wire them the money as they need it and then they pay it? Is that how that works?
No, I wired. It's actually with my accountant and his.
Oh,
It's just a QuickBooks scenario.
okay.
I just wire. Or I mean, we fax in the hours every other, and then she sends it back. And I tell you, with QuickBooks, it's just boom, 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 boom. And I actually did the payroll for 25 years, which was good for me,
Yeah.
So I'm very grateful. I'm trying to think of other programs that I put in place. But a lot of my friends, once they got their children launched, wanted to go into business, and I just explained to them, you got to have checks and balances all the time. I check now. Of course, we pay so many bills online anymore that we don't have. I don't have to check a lot of checks, and things have tightened up so much. And this paying bills online, paying all your utilities online is actually a real blessing. Just say,
Absolutely agreed. If I never have to write another check again, that will make me very happy.
yeah, exactly. So, I haven't, and the judge ordered her to not confront me or her sisters, stalk me, or don't approach me and retaliate. And her sister tried that. I was at a saloon getting a pizza one night, and her sister was at the counter, and she was just glaring at me. And it's like, oh God, I can't get out of here fast enough. But anyway, but there actually hasn't been any problem. And she has to tell any job that she has that she's a convicted felon.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen her once since 1997, which is fine. I don't want to see that woman,
Yeah, of course not.
ever again. So, I don't know, are we out of time or?
No, we still have some more time. I forgot. I meant to put up this banner to let people know if there's anybody that has a question that they want to ask Margaret, you can go ahead and type in a comment either on YouTube or on Facebook, and I'll see it, and we'll go ahead and ask her. And then I'm going to put her email address up too pretty soon, so that if you want to directly email her, I would recommend that you write something like Connection Corner or something in the subject so she'll know. But I do have a couple of questions for you. So one, you said she gave you a sum of money and then she paid you monthly for, I think, 4 years. So like, what was the sum of money that she paid you in a chunk? And then like, how much did she pay you and what'd you get in total? Like, did you get back at least the 40,000 that you were able to prove that she took?
Yeah. I got that back. She gave me like $30,000, and like I said, that was a prominent Kalispell family, and she went to her mother-in-law, and then I think she paid me $400 or $500 a month.
Okay.
And my daughter just said, "How did you hire Linda in the first place?"
That's a great question.
Yeah, and she just kind of came to me. I mean, she saw me at church with two little kids, and she's very sweet, and she approached me saying, "Do you ever need any help with your books?" And of course, at that time, I was juggling little kids, getting to the babysitter, and not having a great partner, as you know, who was always gone, such a worker bee. So she approached me. She totally seized an opportunity. Got in there, and I started trusting her, and then I let her sign on my checking account. Don't do that.
Okay, good. Okay, so there's another check and balance. You have signing privileges and nobody else does without you. Okay, that's a really good one too. You mentioned that you tell your new employees, like, I will ask you point blank questions. Please don't take it personally. Don't be offended. Like, what are the kinds of questions that you're asking employees?
That's a good question, Barb. If we're short on the cash register and I can't find, instead of keeping it quiet and being angry, I'll announce to everybody. I said, "Hey, you guys, we're $32 short on the cash register," and they inevitably say, "Oh yeah, I'll tell you about that," and they'll come in and explain it to me because I've laid that groundwork. If we have somebody bring something back and they get cash back or they get a credit on their credit card, so. Another thing I did is I invested in 2009 in a really good computer system that tracks. I don't have to do it by hand anymore. Woo-hoo.
Nice.
Yeah, it's wonderful, and it was very expensive at the time for me. It was $14,000, and it's paid off. Invest in good tools, and my dad used to say, "You're only as good as your tools." And that's what I say to the guys in the shop. If you guys need new tools, let me know, or just buy them, pay the bill. Get the Snap-on truck over here. We'll buy some great tools. So anyway, in 2009, my major bicycle company offered this new program, and we said, yeah, we signed up for it, hook, line, and sinker. They can monitor my sales. They can also see when things go awry and get flagged. They can catch, they monitor all my bike sales. And they called up my brother, who was running the bike shops in Minneapolis, and said, somebody stole a major bike from you. And sure enough, it was one of the managers.
Oh, no kidding. Wow.
How they did it. But, he was running 7 bike shops. And
oh, my goodness. Wow.
Yeah.
So he's using that same software, you're saying?
Yes, but I bought it before he did.
Yeah. Okay. So question for you on your vendor. So you mentioned, while you were figuring out that you were being embezzled from, that you were COD. How long did it take you to like win back the trust of the vendors that you worked with?
Oh my God, that is such a great question. It took almost 6 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And, yeah. And I missed discounts. Like if you pay by the 25th, you can have blah, 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 blah. I
Mm.
missed all those discounts. So,
Yeah.
it took a long time to gain confidence. And of course, then the bankers, come crawling back when they see you're doing better and they want
Mhm.
to lend you money. But I tell you, my family turned on me and the bankers turned on me.
Yeah.
Mom and dad were angry with me. They thought because I was going through a divorce, and then all of a sudden I have the embezzlement, and they all kicked me to the curb, and it was hard and it was lonely.
Yeah.
And the bankers just said, "We can't lend you any money. Why did you get embezzled from?" Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So, are the bankers our friends? I don't mean here to sit here and bash the bankers. I have a great relationship with them now, but
But for them to blame you, I mean, that doesn't, I mean, yeah, you could have put things in place. And that's one of the reasons why you're doing this is to help other people make sure they put things in place. I do want to ask you about like accountant versus bookkeeper. So I think when you told me the story, you said the woman that embezzled was your bookkeeper. And I thought you said you took your books to an accountant. So not everybody knows the difference between a bookkeeper and an accountant. So maybe you could say like what your understanding of that is and then what you have now. Because it sounds like now you don't have a bookkeeper, but you have an accountant.
I'm the bookkeeper.
You are the bookkeeper. Okay.
I don't. I'm grooming my new owner. I said you need to count the cash every day. You need to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, and if, you're fresh in the mind. You do it in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's another one that turned on me was my accountant at the time. He just said I need $500 a week, and so, I remember. And the minute I got clear, I fired his ass. It's like, you jerk, if you only know what I was going through.
Mm-hmm.
And then you were demanding I give you $500 every Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got rid of him. It was like layer after layer started. I started feeling better.
Mm-hmm.
But then I had a lot of bridges to repair.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't the best person to be waiting on a customer. I tell you, when you can't pay your bills,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
desperate,
Yeah.
you're desperate for a sale. I
Mm-hmm.
should not have been on the show floor trying to sell a bike.
Mm-hmm.
Plus,
Right.
I had
Yeah, because you didn't have the customer's best interest at heart. You had yours. Yeah, yeah. I can see how that was. Yeah.
Please,
So, question for you: how did you hire a new accountant before you fired that guy, and how did you pick the new accountant?
I've gone through a couple of accountants. I've had my last one. I went to Kathy. Kathy is the lady I smuggled the books to when my bookkeeper was in New York. And I had her for a number of years, and then she retired, or I outgrew her. And then I went to my present day accountant, and I'm with him, and I've got a great rapport.
Excellent.
I pick his brain all the time.
Mm-hmm.
As a result of the embezzlement, now I wasn't visionary, because you're trying to put out fires every day, knowing you've got payroll on Friday, knowing you got your house payment.
Mm-hmm.
And in the course of all this, I was able to sell the lot, and I'm very lucky. I realized this, the lot next door to me, because I realized I wasn't going to expand my business, and I took that money and paid off my building. That's a good thing that came out in 2003. I paid off my building.
Nice.
Yeah, and I've never had to put a mortgage on it since then.
Okay.
So a lot of things fell into place. I went and got my degree.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my dad had an 8th grade education, and he was a very, very successful businessman. But I'll tell you, a degree also just adds to your tools,
Mm-hmm.
lets you be more confident, let you know you guys all probably know the benefits of a degree. You realize you have the ability to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, so I got my degree in 2005. Like I said, when the dust started to settle,
Mm-hmm.
I ended up having to do 12 semesters online. And I'm in tight with the community college. They like me up there. They had me come and talk to them
Mm-hmm.
many different occasions on different subjects. So anyway, yeah. So yes.
Right. So one thing that I want to just really bring to the forefront here is how, like, this could have crushed you. There's a
Right.
lot of people who would have just become undone and just closed their business and wouldn't have kept going. And the fact that you not only kept going, but rebuilt your business up to the point where it's so successful now, you own the building, you're selling it to your longtime business partner,
Mhm.
and all that sort of thing is just amazing. What do you think that it was about you that caused you to keep going as opposed to just giving up?
That a lot of Barb, a lot of people have asked me that. I just had it inside of me. I don't know if it was my parents or what. I couldn't give up. I had, I didn't know any better.
Hmm.
Um, I had two kids to finish raising and feed and get them off to college.
Hmm.
Um, I had enough drive that that one summer with my mechanic, I sold everything. I self-taught myself about the product.
Hmm.
I didn't.
Hmm.
I just didn't think I had a choice. I
Hmm.
had to keep going.
Yeah, that, it sounds, what I would call this is the entrepreneurial spirit. Like
Yeah,
someone who's an entrepreneur, stopping isn't an option.
right.
So
It's
like you're like, I have to do this. I am going to do this. And it sounds like, you were born into an entrepreneurial family. So
right.
it makes total sense. And I was too. I was raised in my father's small business. I literally got off the bus at Nangles Pharmacy starting in third grade when he opened the business, and grew up as the child in a small business. And my little brother actually had a playpen in a crib. He was 6 months old when the store opened. So he literally grew up in the store. So I know
Right.
what you mean. Yeah. So if we could try to summarize some of the checks and balances that you've put into place, I'll do the best I can and let me know if I've forgotten anything. So one, you check your own bank statement
Yeah.
every single month.
Mhm.
Two, you don't have anybody else who has their own individual signing privileges without you on your books.
Mhm.
Three, you're vocal about the fact that you've been embezzled and that you keep your eyes on your
Mhm.
finances. Four, this isn't necessarily check and balance, but I think it's a point that you put across very well and strongly, and that is maintain good business relationships with
Mhm.
the community, including the city or town in which you work, and pay your bills on time, so that you can have all that sort of thing. So, was there anything else in
Yes.
terms of checks and balances that I missed?
Yes. Now I'm almost. I keep good records of everything.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Don't get rid of your records, especially if your bookkeeper tells you to get rid of them. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I just document everything. I mean,
Mm.
I literally document incidents that happen in the shop, incidents that happen with employees. So, and they know I document it.
Mhm.
And it's not so much an employee, so much as I document stuff and just as a safety measure.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
actually, I got reprimanded when I was prepping for trial.
Mhm.
I got reprimanded by the prepping crew from the county attorney for having poor bookkeeping stuff. So I thought, well, I can take care of that one,
Right. Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And I kind of overdid it, and I kind of self-educated and like what I
Mhm.
should keep. And
Mhm.
there's such great information anymore on the internet.
Oh yeah. I mean, you can watch a whole video, and yeah, and then like QuickBooks, like you were talking about. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's really amazing. And then the other thing I just want to recap also is some of the red flags that you mentioned. So you mentioned specifically being told that she paid cash for a $5,000 hot tub, She had herself a brand new Cadillac. Her grown son had a brand new car. And here you were not being able to pay the bills, driving around a 12-year-old car. She told you that you should get rid of your records. She took the bank statements home. She took things off your plate so you wouldn't, quote, have to worry about them. But it
Right.
was really because she was hiding things. So it sounds like if you're suspicious about anything, then ask questions and don't feel badly about it. Yeah.
And I had to go through a period of feeling very dumb,
Mm,
very humiliating,
yeah.
so embarrassed, and so filled with shame about it.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so I really retreated within my four walls of my store and my
Hmm.
home and just stayed out of the public view for quite, I was too
Right.
embarrassed, very embarrassed.
Right. And so, and what's amazing is you've taken that embarrassment and decided, I'm going to try to prevent other people from having that same thing by being public about what happened to me. And I really applaud you for that. And I really appreciate that. I think, one last question is, like, you mentioned the first person you went to was an attorney.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering, like, if somebody has a small business nowadays and they think that their bookkeeper might be embezzling from them,
Mhm.
is that your thought about who the best person to go to is an attorney first?
Yeah. Yeah. And John knew my business, and he
Mhm.
told me, I didn't use him very much.
Mhm.
And he told me, go get my stuff. And the next thing he said is get to the county attorney. So I had no attorney bills because the county attorney handled the whole thing.
Okay, great. And
So
why is that? Is that because of the level of crime that embezzlement is?
yes, the level of crime, um, I, that's a good question. I'm not sure why they just embraced it and took it over.
Mhm.
I know they do. I mean, I've read about other embezzlements, and
Yeah.
the counties go after the embezzler.
Yeah. I don't know enough about the criminal justice system to know if it, like, maybe something that's on the level of felony that happens. I don't really know. Maybe there's somebody listening who knows, who could pop a comment in. But speaking of that, I do want to put up Margaret's email address. So she did say that if there's anybody watching that didn't feel comfortable putting a comment or a question up and they want to privately email her to ask her questions, you can go ahead and email her. She's Margaret@wheatoncycle.com, and she'd be happy to answer your questions. I would recommend that you put something like, employee embezzlement or connection corner in the subject line so she'll know who you are and what that's from. But is there anything else that you haven't shared that you would like to share, or anything that you said that you just want to reiterate before we go?
Well, I said at the very beginning, this embezzlement taught me how to be a better business person,
Mm-hmm.
and just watch, keep an eye on things. And I'll tell you why, because your employees watch you.
Mm-hmm.
And and I reminded my manager of when sometimes he has a breakdown or something. I said, watch it. The employees are watching you.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned that again. I learned that the hard way.
Mm-hmm.
And just like your kids watch you. So anyway, yeah, they keep an eye on it. So I don't know. This has been great.
Mm-hmm.
I hope I've helped somebody out there.
I'm absolutely certain you have. I said to somebody yesterday, I think you're going to potentially save millions of dollars by the people who watch this, who learn, and, because you just don't know. Like, if you prevent one embezzlement, you can't know how many thousands or hundred thousands or millions of dollars that prevented. So that's really incredible.
Well,
Well,
I have one more thing. I have had, since I've given a talk or talks, I have had people come up to me in my store and just say, they want to pull me aside. And they said, we want to tell you how much we appreciate your talk because we had a questionable scenario. Hmm.
mhm,
And we took your advice, you know?
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Heard
good.
that several times. So anyway.
Great. Well, thanks again, Margaret. I'm gonna pop you off the screen now, but thank you so much for joining us. And if you'll stay in the studio for a moment, I just want to close out the show. So thanks again, Margaret.
Thank you, Barb.
All righty. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And thanks so much to Margaret. And I sincerely hope that her experience here is going to help somebody, a bunch of somebodies out there, to really get a handle on the finances of their business. I do want to remind you that next week on the show, Connection Corner, on Monday, the 28th at 10 a.m., we have Annie from Natural Annie Essentials, and she's going to be talking about her entrepreneurial journey. She's a mom entrepreneur, and she created her product line to address her daughter's health needs because she couldn't find the kinds of products that she wanted. So be sure to join us for that. Next week on Digital Media Sync, it's at 8:30 on Tuesday morning. Be sure to join Julia then. And don't forget to leave comments, even if you're watching the recording. If you have a question or something for Margaret, we'll make sure that she gets it. Thank you again, known community. Take care now.